The biggest difference between our, I don't even like to say it's a safety squat bar, I like to call it a yoke bar because it fills the yoke, whereas a safety squat bar is just more of that. A safety squat bar, just a padded bar, is how the pad is designed. So the way that our pad is designed is it's a full length pad, where years ago the only safety squat bar pads you could find were short with the handles. The problem that I ran into, because I can only use the safety squat bar or a yoke bar, is that short pad over a period of time puts a lot of compression on the spine. So if you're somebody like myself and you can only squat, you can't grab a bar, so you can only use a yoke bar or a safety squat bar to squat with, the shorter that pad, the less displacement there is across the upper back. So I wanted a pad that was going to be wider so I could squat with it every single week and not beat the shit out of my spine. So anybody that's using a safety squat bar or yoke bar because they can't use a regular bar in substitute of it, don't ever go with a short pad. We still have short pad ones here that we use for max effort work because it suits a different purpose as far as throwing you forward, but it has to displace throughout the back. So Tad's going to come in to be able to show, and this is a brand new bar. So what you're going to see from the back, you're going to have to come around back, is before he gets in, the displacement of the pad is really about from here to here, but right now it's from here to here, where the other ones it's only going to be from here. So as he stands up, the displacement is getting a little bit better, but it's not enough weight, and it is a brand new pad. Go ahead and rack it. Over a period of time, as with any foam, the pad will start to break in a little bit, and that displacement will get a little bit better. So we'll have him use one of the older bars, our older bars, yoke bores. Just stay right there. Start the wedge in there again. Now you can see the displacement is throughout the whole upper back instead of just through here through the spine. So if he needed to use this on a weekly basis, you're going to see that displaces all the way across while still keeping it in a higher bar position. That's good. We'll go back over to the other bar. So over time, the pad will break in, not break down. A lot of other pads will break down, not break in. So the goal is to get it to break in over a period of time. We use a 2-pad process, so it's layered. Instead of just having one big roll that's in there, there are multiple rolls that are in there. So one of them is to keep the bar off of the spine. The other one is to help to displace across the upper back. Now the 5 best exercises to use the SS Yoke Bar for, the first one is a squat, which is pretty simple. There's several ways to do this. But a normal squat would be just standing, squatting down, and standing back up. Okay. Now, what you do with your hands makes a big difference. If you're trying to build the shit out of your upper back, you're going to want to pull the handles towards you. So this time just do the pick, but don't squat. So if he wants to build his upper back more, or somebody caves forward or falls forward in the squat, I would want them to pull the handles down, pull down, that way. That's going to work their upper back a little harder than if they were to do the opposite, which is push up, which is what I would have somebody do that would be trying to work through lower back problems or trying to learn how to squat in a more straight upright position, or having the bar go in a straight position. So a squat necessarily isn't just a squat. So when you're using a yoke bar, you can have, you know, a free squat, handles up, free squat, handles down. We have longer handles that can go on there that just makes the tilt and the torque different. It can be a free squat, it can be a box squat. So just on the number of exercises just on squatting, you're already looking at a finite amount because you got a closed stance, wide stance, and so forth. The second exercise that I would consider as the best would be an upper back good morning. A lot of times this is the area of weakness with lifters and athletes. So on this, go ahead and stand up. It's just a matter of rounding the upper back here and then arching it back up here. So it's just think about doing a good morning with your upper back. This can be done for Your normal set's a 6 to 8, but I preferably like having it done for time. So say a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and work it up to there. If it's done for time, a lot of it may be just holding it statically and then doing a couple reps. And then holding statically again, because what you're trying to develop with this is that tight static strength of the upper back to keep you from falling forward in a squat or breaking down into a deadlift. The next exercise is just a standard good morning. Because of the yoke bar, the pad's going to be held higher, so it's going to put more of the force forward. So you got to really pay a little bit more attention when they're doing good mornings with a safety squat bar, because you don't really ever want the bar to go in front of the toes during a good morning. So this is going to force them to have to sit back more into the hamstrings and glutes if you're watching what they're doing. The more forward the bar goes in front of the toes, the more stress it's going to put on the lower back in a not in a good way. This can be done in a neutral stance, which is what he has there. It can be done in your deadlift stance, and it can be done in a wide stance. So you got 3 different stances with this as well. You can also do an arch back good morning, which would be in a wider stance. This, like the upper back good morning, now all we're going to do is focus on the lower back. So it's just arching forward and then arch out. So it's just arching out of it. It's not a bent over good morning. It's keeping all the tension again in the lower back. Just like with the upper back good morning, I like this to be another one that's done for time instead of weight, because you can go extremely heavy on this, which defeats the purpose. Where you try to do it for 3 to 5 minutes, it's going to light you up. All right, the 4th exercise would be a back raise with the yoke bar. It can be any form of back raise. It can be a back raise and a glute ham raise. It can be actually a glute ham raise. It can be just a 45-degree back raise. It's just another way to load the back raise where you're actually putting more of the load further away from the moving part, so you're increasing the lever, which makes it harder. Another thing with our yoke bars, our handles do come off, and we do have different types of handles, and we have more handles coming for the following year, 2019. I don't know when this is going to post, so it's going to sound kind of weird. But the handles coming off allow the lifters to be able to do tricep extensions or different variations of a JM press. This is just a basic tricep extension to where the pad acts as a lever to be able to keep the tension on the triceps there. And if you look there, there's very little shoulder rotation. So the less shoulder rotation, the more tricep extension. So the pad acts as a guide as to when to break down into the tricep extension. All right, a bonus exercise to my top 5, and I'm only putting it as a bonus because I don't do a lot of single leg work. I don't have lifters that I work with do a lot of single leg work. That can be saved for a debate later or a debate on the channel. I don't give a fuck because I'm not going to answer the questions. But single leg work with a yoke bar is a lot easier than doing the single leg work using a straight bar. It can be anything from a Bulgarian split squat, lunges, or whatnot. There you go. So it wouldn't be in my top 5, but it would be 6. So those are the top 5 exercises with a bonus exercise, but I should make note there are a lot of other exercises you can do with this bar. I've seen people do front squats. I've done front squats, curls, tricep extensions. It kind of can start to get a little bit ridiculous, and I've been guilty for this in the past, that a lot of times you'll see somebody that builds a product or sells a product that's used for a few things that works very, very well for those few things. Then they start adding on another 99 things that you can do with it just to kind of use as an upsell. I don't think this bar needs an upsell. If you're doing the top 5 exercises that I've talked about, you're not going to need to do any of the other shit. It's going to take care of itself.